one. They can't spell out abortion with an I. She's got it like abort with a
what
one.
Are you looking at?
Oh, the word.
Oh.
Abortion. See, I don't know these YouTube rules, so we have to get like.
Wait, why is that though?
Abortion is a term that can get her video demonetized or something, I guess.
So they go gang related with it? Because that's what gang members do.
So this is pro-choice feminists get schooled on abortion. JustPearlyThings. Advertisements!
Watch this. Look, I love Amazon.
If they were to outlaw abortion, do you think women that get abortions should be pursued to the fullest extent of the law?
She must be a doctor.
I say this. If they pass a law, because despite any of it, they are wrong, but if they pass a law tomorrow, then yeah, that's when it should apply for anybody. But anybody in the past, like, nah. But present and further on, yeah.
Well, that would put me in that category, wouldn't it? But
I meant moving. So, like, if they pass a law tomorrow, they can't put someone in jail from before the law was passed. So it would just be like women in the future. You know, like if you change the speed limit to 50 and it was 40 last week, they don't say you drove 45 last week.
No. A woman doesn't have the full picture.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, as it stands anyway, therefore, similar to what Ruth is saying, the doctors that are signing off these women or permitting them to have these abortions, and those that are actively performing the abortions should be held to account.
Oh, they gotta put. See how they gotta put abortion like with a one?
Oh,
abortion. See, I don't know these YouTube rules, so we have to get like.
Wait, why is that though?
Abortion is a term that can get her video demonetized or something, I guess.
So they go gang related with it? Because that's what gang members do. They switch out letters represent
AB,
10. So basically it's a 10.
No. AB0RT1ON.
I can see it like still affects you.
It does. So it's just going back to what Cass said, you know, you say you train your mind to forget, but like we're here today, it's part of my tapestry. I can't forget. I've moved on with my life. I have been healed from my experience, but like most traumas, you can't forget it. It's just you learn to cope and you learn to forgive yourself for it.
That's what people say, right?
Yeah.
That's what everyone says. But the brain is capable of everything. The brain is like a computer. If you tell, you have to organize it in certain folders. If you don't want something on the computer, you can move it to the bin folder. And people don't realize that I've had a lot of things happen to me. And most of the things I've actually forgotten about until I actually come and speak on these subjects and people bring these subjects up. I'm like, oh yeah, that's happened to me. Oh yeah, like I'm really good with those things. So what I would do is I would, like, if the memory comes back, again, it's very good to start off with forgiveness, forgiving yourself, forgiving whatever, the doctors, no signatures, or all those things. Yeah, absolutely. That's the first step. But the second step is working with your brain. Your brain communicates to you through your imagination. Therefore, you should respond with your imagination. So when that memory comes, you can imagine scrunching it, putting it into the bin folder. Your brain will adapt. Your brain will know you are the engineer of that computer. You are the engineer of your life. Your brain thinks it can control you only because you haven't taken that power. But no one knows that, you know, everyone just lets the brain do everything. The amount of thoughts that we get every day, and it could be so random, like random thoughts that don't even belong to our personality, you know, but we can control that. We can. And things like that's happened to us, we don't need to think about it. We don't need to feel the pain every time. Like it's happened to you so long ago, and I can feel it in your chest, in your emotions. It's still there and it's still resurfacing, you know. So if you just practice this scrunching up, putting into the bin folder, trust me, the brain will adapt quicker than you think. And eventually it will stop showing up, like the whole memory will just disappear.
It sounds like
bin folder.
It sounds like she's talking about like repressing trauma or like pain, and it's like when you go to therapy and stuff, then that stuff comes out. It's like, are you really dealing with the pain?
No, I wouldn't say you is.
You know, it's like you repressing it, then it affects other things in your life without you knowing. It's like, what's the solution though?
I was about to say,
is the solution to store it in a folder because it's still there, and it's like, is it gonna mess with you later down the line? Like,
you think therapy really works?
I think therapy works. It's like people study the brain. Like even if you look at a YouTube video, certain things on YouTube, even like motivation, that's therapy on a different level. Like basically what therapists do. I mean, I don't know the fullness of it, but they can bring out things that you don't know that you have in you, or that you may have trouble admitting, but you're supposed to feel comfortable with a therapist to be able to express things to them, knowing that in confidential that it's not going to get out, and you can get those things out and get them dealt with. It's like how we go to prayer and we have a space where we can let stuff out. That's why I think church is like really important, because when you go to church, you can put things like that out there to where you can cry about things and people don't have to know what you're crying about, because everybody's there. Yeah. So they're not thinking, like, you may just be crying because how much you love God. You know what I'm saying? No, but that's why I feel comfortable. Like if I rarely, like maybe I might cry like 2 times a year, but I'll let that out. And then, you know, that's the problem with the world. They got their own way of dealing with things. And it's like, at the very least, if you're going to live in the world, like go to therapy, get it out, get it dealt with.
You mean they got their own way of numbing?
Their own way of numbing things. I mean,
to deal with it mean you dealt with it. It's not going to be something that comes back up later, or that numbing it is more or less, you know, nice little cold drink. Let me smash about 10 women, 10 dudes. They have a way of numbing it. The world have no solution. Sorry, world. No solution.
Yeah, I'll say there's no solution, because a solution means that
it's resolved.
You're on the right path. But I will say you can have a temporary solution on earth. My idea of deliverance is not like you just figured out the situation and you're healed. Like, it's got to be more than that. It's got to be, I'm healed, but I'm also with the healer. You know, I'm also with God. Like, that's just my personal take on it. You know, other people will disagree.
They will.
But on earth, you can feel better about things. Like I was talking to my dad about this. I was like, people can get over stuff like racism. They can get over stuff like drug addiction without coming to God. It's possible. But they're still using principles that the Bible explains. That's the thing. So you can't get away from God's methods, but you can say, it's like, I'm taking God's methods from the Bible to get over my problems, but I'm also rejecting God. Your earthly solutions will work on earth, and that's it. They won't work for you once you die. Like, what's going to happen when you die? That's what's most important. But yeah.
And it's temporary though, even though
it's a temporary fix.
Yeah, on earth to earth itself is temporary. We're bound by time. So any solution you get off this earth is not only, for the most part, is either going to be most time it's going to be self-gain, but then it's also temporary. So how, like, me personally, I'm like,
it's really meaning. That's why, like, when people say, hey, pray for me, I'm like, yeah, when I pray for you, it's going to be, I'm going to pray for your salvation. I'm going to pray that you get saved.
With hell, right?
I mean,
I'm praying hell
if
on you.
You got to go through hell.
Most people do. We human.
Most
people do.
I mean, I got to go through my little hell to get to heaven or whatever, but I'm praying that, like, if I just pray for you to get a bunch of money because you need it, if I give you a bunch of money because you need it, and then it's like you don't get the ultimate like thing, then it's like it's like if you die, then that if God does not exist and all that, it kind of makes things less meaningful. It takes away because you can't really describe purpose. Not believing in God, not believing in His methods or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, they believe in the methods. They don't believe in the one who came up with the methods. The Bible says He reigns on the just and the unjust.
I don't like that. That's not fair.
That's I mean, the thing is,
it is fair,
it's fair because the last shall be first and the first shall be last. I feel like these people can live a completely happy life and be totally prosperous, and even up until the day he dies.
Yeah.
So, but it's because because the Bible says store up, count the cost before you build the tower, stuff like that. So you can get so much out of living this
wicked life. Put wicked with life, because even the Bible said wicked men will prosper. Like you said, if you, with God or without God, you sow something, you got to reap it. So good or bad, you get it back. But that's not fair. I mean, God knows what He's doing, but